America is very famous for its sitcoms, and sitcoms also are a great way for you to get more comprehensible input. Of course, when you're at that level, when you have enough hours and you're ready to make the jump to native content, sitcoms are a great place to start. And today we're going to talk about the best sitcoms to help you learn English. Now, I highly recommend sitcoms because, one, they talk about day to day situations. They talk about things that happen in everyday life. There's different types of shows that you can watch for specific vocabulary to acquire specific vocabulary. For example, if you watch a crime show, you're going to learn a ton of vocabulary about the police, law, the legal field, as well as crimes themselves. However, we don't use that vocabulary every day. Of course, it's important for you to know it, but what's more important when you're still acquiring a lot of the language are the words and phrases that you will use every single day, which is why I believe sitcoms are the best shows to start when you jump to native content, because normally these sitcoms happen, the setting is either at work or at school, things like that, where you see things happen in their everyday lives. And of course, in a sitcom, there's going to be a ton of different situations. It's where it gets its name, a situation comedy, where it's funny because of what happens in the situation and normally how the characters react to the situation. They normally do it in a way that's a little ridiculous. That's probably something that you in your normal life wouldn't do. However, the vocabulary that you're going to learn from them is excellent and something that really you will utilize every day just like they do. So, I highly recommend starting with sitcoms because really it's going to give you the most benefit. The benefit from watching sitcoms is going to be seen every single day. And why? I like to watch sitcoms as well when I'm learning languages because I learn the language that you use every day as well as the expressions. Okay, let's get into the best sitcoms to help you learn English. The first one is extremely famous, if not the most famous sitcom from the United States in history, which is Friends. Friends, of course, is world famous. Right now in Madrid, there's an exposition just about the sitcom. Now, Friends is about six friends that live in New York and go through their day to day together. They get into crazy situations, but at the same time, most of the situations you see are extremely normal, are completely normal in a person's day to day. Of course, there's a lot of exaggeration and whatnot, but it's very fun. It's a show with a lot of laughs. Another great thing about watching this sitcom is a majority of English speakers have also watched it. So, on top of that, you're going to have something to talk about in a conversation. And you'll see online, which Friends character are you? Which character from Friends describes your personality? It's very, very popular. Now, I highly recommend Friends as a good starting place as well. While they talk quickly, it's not exaggerated, and normally they speak quite clearly. So you can go ahead, hang out in Central Perk, the coffee shop with them, and really acquire some great language for your day to day. The second sitcom that I want to talk about is another extremely, extremely popular sitcom that's right there with Friends. Arguably, it could be even more popular. This one is The Office, where you follow a group of workers at a paper company in their day to day. Now, the situations they get into at the office are not normal situations in a normal office in the United States. However, some of the interactions and the dynamics between coworkers is very real and very understandable, the type of people at an office, and sometimes the conflicts that arise at work. Now, The Office is very funny, but it depends on your type of humor. It might not be funny to you. It might be a type of show that maybe rubs you the wrong way, that you don't think it's very funny. It's very funny to certain people, but I know many people that hate the show because of the type of humor. A lot of it is very awkward and embarrassing, and sometimes it's uncomfortable. Even for me, and I like the show. I like The Office, and even sometimes for me, it's a little too uncomfortable. However, the characters are iconic. People know these characters, and again, it's a great way to interact with native English speakers, especially if you're talking to Americans. There's also a version from Britain as well, but I'm talking about the American version, which came after the British version. The American version of The Office. It's iconic, everyone knows it, and of course, if you enjoy this type of humor, it's going to make you laugh. It's great for those day to day situations and for vocabulary in an office. Now, the next sitcom is one of my favorites. I really, really love this sitcom. And it's great because it's day to day, but in the lives of families. So you're going to get vocab surrounding families, the home, work, school, everything. And at the same time, it's very funny while also being very emotional. There's times that are very heartwarming, that are even sad. And because of this, I think it's a great show. I think it's a great show for you to watch, which is Modern Family. Modern Family, again, is in the lives of a family. It's showing the lives of the Pritchett family as well as the people that they marry. They're in relationships, so also you get to see a lot of relationships and vocab surrounding that. And again, it's just one of those shows that's very entertaining, very fun, and yet randomly can make you cry. It's a great show, also very popular, and I think that a lot of you would really enjoy this show. Now let's go back in time a little bit. This show is a little bit older compared to the other sitcoms that I've mentioned, and it's called Cheers. This sitcom is set in a bar in Boston where everyone knows your name, right? It's a ton of locals, it's a ton of regulars that are always coming to the bar, and honestly, it's quite funny. It's quite funny, and again, heartwarming, and it tells the story of the bar and the characters that go to the bar. It's a very, very well known sitcom, but again, it's a little older now. It's not as modern, but it's iconic. It's iconic, especially the theme song. The theme song is very well known and a great theme song. I really like the theme song as well. And I really enjoyed watching this show. Now, for people that are a lot younger, for people that are younger, they might not know this show, or they've probably heard of it, but they've never seen it. However, a lot of people have. And so I put it on this list to also open up to different generations and for people to see the differences in sitcoms in the past versus the present. So I highly recommend watching Cheers. Even if you just watch one episode or two, I think it's really interesting and you can get a lot out of it. Now, back to the modern sitcoms. We have Parks and Rec, which is set in a government agency, the Parks and Recreation Agency of a local government. This is great to learn a little bit of vocab surrounding law and government, but again, in day to day situations that are very silly. This sitcom is very well known as well, especially for the characters. The characters are super iconic, the characters are super well known, and you see a lot of internet jokes about them. They're very, very well known. And it's again one of those sitcoms that is a little heartwarming, is very funny, and very optimistic. The characters are very, very optimistic. Regardless of what happens, it's always we can do it. We can succeed. We can figure out the solution. And to me, I really like that message. I think that message is great and honestly a very uplifting show. So I highly recommend it. I highly recommend it for all of you that enjoy watching a show with a lot of optimism. And I think you'll get a lot out of that show as well. A similar type of show is Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Brooklyn Nine-Nine is set in a police precinct in Brooklyn, New York, and I have not seen a lot of this show, but I've seen a few episodes, and it is quite funny. It is quite funny, and again, I know that there's a lot of heartwarming scenes. There's a bit of office romance, people that fall in love with each other, and it's really well loved in the United States. A great way also to learn a little bit of vocab about the police and things like that, while also focusing on the day to day. I highly recommend this show as well for all of you, and at least give it a try. And now, my favorite sitcom. Even more, this is my favorite show of all time. This show is my absolute favorite show of all time, which is Scrubs. Scrubs is a sitcom set in a hospital that's supposed to be in the middle of nowhere, kind of nowhere America. It could be in any city of America. And it's a hospital without a lot of money. It shows the journey of three doctors, two doctors and a surgeon specifically, and their journey from entering the hospital their first day to, well, where they end up, and their interactions with patients and everything about their learning journey. To me, Scrubs is the best sitcom I've ever seen because one, it is hilarious. It is super, super funny. Amazing writing. On top of that, it's very emotional. You get very attached to characters and you see them go through difficult moments. And most importantly, you see them learn, you see them grow as individuals. And I loved that about the show. I watched it growing up, and it honestly helped me through a lot of situations and taught me a lot of great life lessons. On top of that, the music is excellent. The music is one of my favorite parts of the show as well. And it's just one of those shows that give you a lot of iconic lines that make you laugh, that you might even find yourself saying in your day to day life. The one thing about Scrubs, sometimes they can speak quickly, and some of the medical vocabulary is quite difficult. The Medical Association of Doctors in America, the Medical Association, named it the most accurate show about doctors ever. This includes all those TV programs about doctors. They had an actual doctor that helped them with the medical parts of the script. So if you don't understand the medical parts, don't worry because it's real medical language, it's real medical jargon and can be quite complex. A native speaker doesn't know exactly what they're saying, right? This is for doctors. However, it's a small part of the show. It's a small part of the show. And it was just because they cared about the accuracy. They wanted it to be real. They wanted people to see real lives of doctors, but it's a sitcom. It's very silly. It's very fun. And I highly, highly recommend it. Put in the comments below, one, if you've seen any of these shows, and two, if you're going to watch any of them. Again, sitcoms are great for you to learn English because of the wide vocabulary they use, and normally they're very long, so it's a lot of great input for you to watch, and you can really learn a lot, a lot, a lot. Okay, put that in the comments below what you're going to watch or what you've seen already. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to keep getting more input here. And we'll see each other in the next video. Bye.